Hello, it's Thursday, December 11th, 2025, and this is Darren with an update to Jeff's layout in Farmington, Minnesota. This railroad it's in its third incarnation. For those of you who have been following the saga, we started out working with Jeff up in Palmer, Alaska, which was north of Anchorage, about an hour. Then he moved, after his wife passed, he moved to Omaha and spent about a year and a half there or so, and then recently moved to Farmington, Minnesota, where we're building the third incarnation of his layout, which is sort of loosely based upon the Union Pacific across Nebraska. Jeff grew up in sort of central Nebraska, north of Columbus, in a town called Madison. And so this railroad kind of represents, again, the UP from Council Bluffs to maybe North Platte. So we're looking at the Council Bluffs side of the railroad, the east end of the railroad, and there's 5 tracks of staging over here, plus the main line. You'll notice that the main line track has been put in place. It's using concrete ties. Basically, anything in concrete ties is helping establish that that will be dispatcher controlled. And so the goal of this visit was really to get a lot of the industries and sidings figured out with drawing, get some of the roadbed down for at least the main lines, and begin laying main line track and turnout. So we'll kind of start here and work our way towards the west by going out this lower here. And then there's also an entrance in the upper level that we'll show you in a minute. But we're going to just follow this from linear east to west. Ignore all this for a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. But so the track comes out of the backdrop over here and continues towards the west. There's a track here that's for some continuous running. There'll be a station here, kind of Omaha area. And then we have a large power plant that's going to get a 15-car coal train. So it's hard to tell, but there's things drawn on the benchwork that shows us where track centers will eventually be. You can see the double track main continuing west. There'll be a large grain elevator here. That was an important feature for the layout. And then down here, we decided to do something that we hadn't done in the past, and that is to just loosely represent some of the railroads that cross the UP. The Burlington crossed the UP a couple of different places, and so this is a little representation of maybe the diamonds in Grand Island, although obviously we're not really trying to model that specifically, but there's a little interchange yard here. Then trains will continue through on the main. And then on this side, this railroad that's crossing is going to do some switching activities over here. Because of the electrical panel, one of the features that we put in the layout this time is a lift-up section, so there can be access to the panel, and basically it aligns in place. And so that'll work out nicely. Over here is going to be a chemical plant, and we haven't really decided fully on the industries here. He wanted a center passing siding, so on this end of the layout we've developed a center pass that goes over here then, and we're going to really use it more as almost a set out for industries that are going to be into the next room that we have not developed yet. Here's the other end of the center passing siding, plus some spurs that go off over some of the industries. And then on this part of the layout, we're going to do the buttermilk curves. If you're familiar with the Union Pacific, just east of North Platte, Nebraska, there's a spot where the main line does some sweeping around, and this will be one of the few spots in the layout where we're going to really try not to have a lot of industries and just have some kind of open running across Nebraska. And the buttermilk curves are cutting through some of the rolling hills, I guess I would say, of Nebraska as you get kind of towards the central and western part. And so this will be a kind of a neat opportunity for that. And then over here, we haven't done much with this trip because this was already planned and some of the track work was already in place, although I did connect the main line on each end. But this goes back into the staging. And this loosely represents the town of Madison, where Jeff grew up, although there's been a lot of modeling license here. But I think it'll be a nice operating area, and he's got a few freight cars he's put on there because he just couldn't wait. But so that's basically where we are for the moment, and the layout's making lots of progress. Next trip up here, which will be in about, I don't know, 8 to 12 weeks. I didn't do the math on that, but we'll have trains running for sure next time, and continue to forge forward with the DCC install, and then start getting a lot more of the cork and sidings in place for the rest of the industry. So join us on that one. Otherwise, probably going to be a little quieter around the holidays. I'm not anticipating a lot of travel necessarily, although I'm going to be working on a couple of local layouts in eastern Iowa where I'm from. And then we're going to actually maybe try to do a little stuff on my own layout. We'll see how that works out. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll see everyone probably at the beginning of the new year. Alrighty.